It's yet another year, and I'm wishing you the best in this year that we are at. And I'm looking forward to hearing some good stories. And remember, through this year to smile. This is Now Tell Us, and I'm your host, Anthony Moirore. Today, we are going to be talking about happiness from within with our guest who is known as Janet Prado. And before we go there, I have some good news. Hey, can you please help me celebrate? Because we've had such a wonderful start to the year. Now Tell Us has hit globally rank number one on Podmatch. Wow. And thank you for each and every one of you who's been here. Thank you for our guests. Thank you for our audience. And the feedback that you give us is helpful. So if you have something to say about the episode, we appreciate. If you have a question, ask as we get going. And now, I won't take one more minute. I will just ask you to join me as we go to meet our guest today, who is known as Janet Prado. Here we go. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
How are you, Janet?
I'm excellent. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good, and I hope you're good too.
I'm doing excellent. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you here. We appreciate your coming, and we are looking forward to what it is that you're going to tell us today. Where are you?
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Oh, wonderful. So you are in the middle. How's the climate? How's the weather right now during this period of time?
During the night, it gets down to about probably 45, 50 degrees. During the day, it's about 60, 70. So it's pretty nice. I
Okay.
can't complain. I'm very grateful every day.
Yeah, it's good to be grateful. And talking about grateful, today we are going to be talking about happiness from within. And we'll be glad to hear what it is that you say about that. I just love this coming at the beginning of the year because uh, we know that life does not always offer us the best. It doesn't offer us whatever it is that we are looking for and what we need or desire. And if we begin at the beginning of the year thinking about positive things, about uh, e- expecting whatever may happen, but then be ready to smile, be ready to be happy. That would be good. So thank you for coming, and I'm eager to hear what you're going to tell us about that.
Absolutely. So, what's your question?
Yeah, what is where, because I would like to know the audience. Maybe let's get to know where does this come from, because I took it from somewhere, but I would like you to let you tell us about happiness from within. Where are we coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Happy New Year. I honor each and every one of your guys' presence, or if you're watching or listening. So, happiness from within emerged back in 2018. Just to condense the story. So, I had a very rare condition in my body, specifically in my left knee. And the doctors told me I would never walk again after having three knee surgeries. And I told them, watch me. And basically, I had just had my last procedure, and something within me, my intuition, this intuition that all of us has, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your higher self, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, right? Basically told me this is the last time you're going to have to go through this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a position for many years. I had this condition probably for like 20 years, right? But out of the probably 10, out of the 20, 10 of those years were probably the hardest because that's when a lot of the surgery started happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So what happened was is I had just had my last procedure, and for 4 of those years I wasn't able to really like the way we sit down normal as human beings. It was really hard for me to sit down. So just to sit like this is a gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to go for my knee after that surgery. Of course, a lot of physical therapy, right, and taking the right supplements and food. I was able to bend my knee from 30 degrees to 180 degrees, and so what had happened was I was in the shower, believe it or not, and something I was like, happiness from within. I was like, I'm going to start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and the whole mission of the podcast, right, is to inspire over 1 billion people to find happiness and healing. Because
Mm.
I feel that through all of our lives, right? Like we all go through hard circumstances. That's just a part of life, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As personally, some people go through more than others, but it's never about comparing. It's about being the best version of yourself where you are today, right?
Oh yeah.
I
Sure.
personally have gone through I've gone through a lot of trauma. Like I went through a lot of trauma as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was molested, had mental abuse. But the thing is I'm not alone. There's a lot of people that have gone through that, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you that I've gone through a lot, but I've also overcome a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
overcome a lot of things financially, mentally, spiritually, physically, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously something always to work on. So, yeah, to answer your question, that's where happiness from within emerged. It was really from just heal everything in my life up to that point of just really healing my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really give a lot of credit also to medical medium, also known as Anthony Williams.
Mm-hmm.
His information basically again condensed the story. He's
Mm-hmm.
a gentleman on a mission, basically helping millions of people to reverse chronic illness because those are still a lot of the symptoms that I'm dealing with. But I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely come a long ways. But
Mm-hmm.
his information, it's basically you're just taking food, using it the correct way, and using it to heal your body because the body has an amazing ability to heal itself.
Mm-hmm.
And already what's here on planet Earth, I mean, you can use a lot of these foods to heal yourself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I really have to give a lot of credit to him because, I mean, literally, I kid you not, Anthony, for 20 years, I've been trying to find answers like, why did this condition happen, right?
Yeah.
And finally, I started studying his information, right? Like, really, really deep, right? And trying to understand, like, and then I was like, in 2020, I finally got my answer, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so you get to the root cause, right? Because if you don't get to the root, it's like kind of like putting a band-aid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really
Wow.
grateful to him. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing that, letting us know how it all started and how you are appreciative to him. Now, that reminded me of something that I had, and even before I say this quote that I had, which is very interesting quote, I come to imagine of the fact that we go to the hospitals and we are prescribed some medicine, and then we go and buy those medicine. Then we only come to find out that all the medicine that we have been taking is coming from plants. It's coming from something that was natural, that has grown, and then they come and take it and just try to uh, change their compound, the structure, and then they give us as medicine. Now, this is the quote I had: you are either going to take your food as your medicine, or if you don't do so, then you're going soon to start taking medicine as your food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a real famous quote. I'm actually a holistic health coach.
Okay.
I help women to reverse chronic illness.
Hmm.
Excuse me. Um, I've studied a lot about nutrition, especially for the last 20 years.
Hmm.
And you're right about what you said. Definitely medication has its place where it needs to be, right?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, definitely Western and Eastern medicine has its place, right? That's probably a topic I could probably literally talk about for hours because it's such a deep topic, you
Yeah.
know. But that's what I really want to share about that. Medication does have its place when it needs to be taken. So,
Okay. That's good.
yeah.
Yeah. So you started your podcast in 2020, and then have you only been presenting yourself, or have you been having guests come and join you, for someone who's listening and doesn't have an idea?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, I really have to give a lot of credit to my previous podcasting coach,
Mm-hmm.
from the Passionate Few. Basically, what happened was, I had been following him and also other people, but basically, I went to an event in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I invested a good amount of money, because if we're not growing, we're dying, right? You have to
Mm-hmm.
invest in yourself, right? Whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is, right? I invested to go to this course, and I met a lot of other high level entrepreneurs. And even previous to that, I've always gone to self development events. Actually, for like the longest time, even from when I was in my 20s, I would always go to like T. Harv Eker, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I don't know if you know who he is, but I remember meeting
I know
him and
it.
his team. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's important to be around like-minded people. So to answer
Yeah.
your question, I was just inspired, right, watching the growth of these entrepreneurs. And I just decided that I wanted to take my podcast to the next level, right? Because I started my podcast in 2018, but I was
Mm-hmm.
still recovering. I was still really sick, but I was still doing it, right? So the biggest thing I can tell you about, if you want to start a podcast, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think about it. Like, you always have to understand, like, I was really, really broke. I mean, I didn't even, I remember when if you don't mind me sharing, when I started my podcast, you know what happened? My Mac computer that I had at the time,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I made the decision to do the podcast, guess what happened to my Mac computer? It
What?
it died. It died. I was like, of course, of course. When you want to start your dream, right? We
Yes.
are gonna have obstacles, but I kind of laughed. I was like, but again, my intuition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was like, something told me, my inner self, my angels were telling me, go to the computer. I think I was on my phone. I didn't have a computer to go to, right? Go to a computer, and you're going to be able to apply for a computer. I was like, that's crazy. My credit is not good, right? Anyway, so I went online, and within 30 minutes I was able to get a refurbished computer. It wasn't a brand new, but it didn't matter. It was a used Mac, but it was
Yeah.
still in really good shape. But guess what? And then I was like, then I had to get the microphone. It was like an investment of like maybe $60 for the microphone,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to understand, like, at the time, I didn't even have internet at my house. So how the heck did I do the podcast interviews? I had to use I had like a little bit of internet from my phone,
Yeah.
so the episodes like weren't I started with audio, okay?
Okay.
So anyways, I'm just saying we all start somewhere, right? And so when I
Yeah.
went to the event in 2020 or 2019, I said, I want to start doing in-person interviews. And so I still do a lot of Zoom, but I recently just did my fourth in-person interview,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really taken my podcast to the next level, especially most importantly the confidence that I have in myself. The thing
Yeah.
is it's not just about the interviews, it's about inspiring you guys. Like
Mm.
this podcast, like my podcast doesn't happen without you, like my viewers. It's all about them. Like it has nothing to do with me, it's about inspiring them, because the whole
Yeah.
mission is to
Mm-hmm.
inspire over 1 billion people,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Exactly.
it has nothing to do with me, it's about portraying the right message. Like the message is to touch people's hearts and souls at a very deep level. Like if somebody doesn't align with my message,
Mm-hmm.
then they're just not on my podcast. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and they try to be like a robot, or they try to tell me about all their degrees, which is great. I'm really proud of them, but where's your heart? Like, right?
Mm.
Where's the
Mm-hmm.
heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you don't show me your heart, you're not on my podcast.
Mm. Wow. What I share. What I share. Uh, and it's good that I mean, you're a big inspiration. You're already doing some wonderful things,
Thank
and
you.
you already saw, because when I came to record on your podcast for an episode that is forthcoming, you reminded me that my goal is a bit I mean, it has a limit. I've put my goal with a limit, and which I shouldn't. And so that was a big inspiration to me. So whatever it is that we are doing, or you who's the listener, you who's watching us, whatever it is that you're doing, please don't put a limit on yourself.
That's right.
Janet is looking for over 1 billion people, and they are there. They're in the planet, and they are looking for someone like Janet who's going to make an impact in the things that they are doing. So
Yeah.
don't limit yourself. And thank you for that, Janet.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, go on.
no, go ahead. I was just trying to find a quote to help to share with your audience, but no, go ahead.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
fine. So yeah, that's
there it is.
something good that you're doing, and we wish that you succeed in whatever else that you're going to plan to do this year. And this goes out also to those who are watching us. Whatever it is that you're planning to do this year, go for it. Don't hesitate to do it. Don't wait for perfection, because perfection may not be attainable. So just like Janet shared, if you have to start on doing something, start. Just do it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead. Did you find a quote?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to share a quote from one of my mentors. His name is Daisaku Ikeda. He actually has spread Buddhism all over the world. He actually recently passed away. He passed away at 96 years old. The
Mm,
doctors told him he wasn't going to live past 30 years old. Um, I just want to add, if I can add this, one of the other big things that have really helped in my healing is, I've been practicing Buddhism for 16 years. I'm not trying to
mm,
sit here and preach anything, but I do want to give credit to my mentor because we chant this phrase called Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and it's basically you're just tapping into your highest potential that you already have. And he
mm,
has this quote, you really love this. He says, "When your determination changes, everything else will begin to move in the direction you desire. The
mm,
moment you resolve to be victorious, every nerve and fiber in your being will immediately orient itself toward your success.
mm,
On the other hand, if you think this is never going to work out, then in that instant, literally that instant, right?
mhm,
Every cell in your being will be deflated
mhm,
and give up the fight. And then everything will move in the direction of failure. So the point of the quote is just like when you make a determination to do something, and it can be anything. Maybe you want to be a better mother, maybe you want to be a better father. It's
mhm.
not, I'm not talking about this huge thing on the mountaintop. Maybe it's just to have, maybe you've been really suffering and you just want to feel happier.
Yeah.
Maybe you're really sick right now and you just want to feel a little bit better, right?
Mhm,
It's all about the baby steps, right?
mhm, mhm,
Whatever it is for you, those that are watching, listening, like just know, like if you just take a tiny step after the end of the year, that's 365 steps. That's a lot
yeah.
of steps. Even
Mhm,
if it's a half an inch,
yeah.
okay? Like
Mhm,
just make whatever determination that is, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, in your career, right?
mhm,
And just know that you're moving in the right direction. Because if you have your back up against a wall right now, or if you feel like you're in the pit of hell, guess
mhm,
what? The only way is up.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm,
So, because I know a lot of you right now out there are really suffering. I know a lot of people out there are really sick right now too. And I
mhm,
say this just from experience as a holistic health coach. A lot of people don't realize that there's just a lot of people suffering out there on some level, whether you're not sick, maybe you're going through something mentally. And there's been a lot of things that happened last year, really wars, right? We just went through a pandemic which really affected and is still affecting a lot of people, our
yeah, yeah.
children,
Mhm,
adults. So I just want you to know that you're not alone, and
mhm,
whatever your determination is, just beautifully love yourself wherever you're at. There's
mhm,
nothing wrong with you. You are enough.
mhm,
You are, I'm going to repeat it again. You are enough. There's nothing
mhm,
wrong with you. You're not defective.
mhm.
Okay. So I just wanted to share that.
Wow, that's very good of you for sharing that. We need it. We need it. Because it only could be a difference of levels with the challenges that each and every one of us goes through, but each and every one of us goes through some challenges,
Yeah.
obstacles against something that we may be planning to achieve, just like you shared your example. And uh, the strength that comes from within, as you are talking about, is what is going to help us to get through the year. So maybe give us some point, some points, some more insights in point form that is going to make us go through the year with happiness from
Sure. So I
within.
want to give an example of a recent struggle I had, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
It
let's go
literally
ahead.
just happened an hour ago.
Wow.
Okay. So when I was when I was in college, I studied music. Okay.
Okay.
my principal instrument was clarinet. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now I took a few years of voice with a student, right? And anyways, but I always wanted to improve my singing, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like because of a lot of the trauma and things that I went through, like it was just really hard to because we all hold trauma in our body,
Yeah.
right? In our hips, in our mouth,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we maybe we do this, right? So why am I sharing that? So when I was having my voice lesson earlier today, I started to cry because I'm trying to learn this song and it's really, really hard. And she's like, "What's the matter?" And I
Mm-hmm.
told her I'm having a hard time opening my mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is an example, right? So
Mm-hmm.
why did I start crying? And I told her it was just there was a lot of emotions that were coming up, right? Because I told her I keep trying and trying and trying. I'm gonna keep trying,
Yeah.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that I just broke down because I'm just like, oh my God, it's just so hard to try to break through this, to try to hit these high notes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But despite crying, okay, I let it out. Guess what? I got back on the horse and I started singing again, right? I
Yeah.
have a lot of work to do. Just because I studied music doesn't mean I'm a freaking like perfect singer. No.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
share that because going into the new year, that's one of my goals, right? I really want to get better at singing, right?
Okay.
Maybe this year you want to improve your finances. Maybe you want to improve a relationship. Maybe you want to improve the relationship with yourself. Maybe you want to be less angry.
Mm.
Maybe you want to read more books. Whatever your goals are, um, they're beautiful. There's
Mm-hmm.
no right or wrong way. One thing I can tell you about goals, and just if you don't mind me adding,
Yeah, that's I
and
was
this
going to
comes
say.
from my
Yeah,
mentor
tell us that.
Daisaku Ikeda. That I learned this from him 2 years ago. He said it's beautiful. Okay, so let's say you write down, okay, I want to make X amount of money. Okay, that's great. Okay, why do you want to make that much money?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So having a why. I know you probably heard this a million times, but
Mm.
when you write down your goals, you got to be descriptive. And
Yeah.
if you don't know the reason why, then guess what? Go sit with yourself, go meditate, go pray, and ask yourself. It's okay if you don't know the answer, but I guarantee you there's a little thing that I learned. So, when you ask somebody, for example, um if someone were to ask me the goal, okay, why do you want to lose weight?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to feel better about myself, right? Okay, that's the first reason, okay? Two, um because I want to look good in a bikini. I'm just giving you an example, right? And then
Yeah.
what's the third reason? Third reason, well, it's because I've been overweight my whole life and I really want to feel good about myself. Guess what? The third reason, anytime you ask somebody about a goal, the third reason, because you're going deeper, 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 it's always the one that's the third reason or fourth. That's the reason why you're doing something.
Hmm. That's
So
interesting.
it's not the surface, right? It's
Yeah.
like a tree. If you think about a tree, right? Here in California, we have sequoia trees. These
Mm-hmm.
trees like are thousands of years old. So what do trees have? They have very deep roots.
Mm.
Well, in our life, our soul, right? At a soul level, we all have a soul, right?
Yeah.
There's different roots, and some of those roots have gotten damaged, right? Maybe from trauma, maybe from whatever, right? So as you start to heal, whatever that looks like for you through prayer, right? Maybe having time for yourself, maybe spending time with your kids,
Mm.
walking. It doesn't have to look a certain way. You're going to know what's best for you. Just know that it's okay. Like, just honor yourself where you're at, you know?
Mm. Yeah. Honor yourself where you're at. You
I hope this is
mentioned.
resonating. I'm getting kind of deep,
Yeah, it
but
is. It is resonating. Definitely, it is. And it's an interesting concept that you talk about there of finding your why, with being the third or maybe the fourth reason why. And it reminds me that someone told me you go to a couple that is having a challenge. They are maybe not understanding each other, or maybe they're having a fight, and then you come in as a mediator and you ask them to give them why or what is happening, and you come out of that place. They may have told you 100 stories, but they have not told you the root of everything. So why is that? If you have an idea of why is that, why would people not tell you exactly what is the right? How does that
Well,
happen?
I'll tell you the answer because we always want to blame somebody else. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
thing. When you blame somebody else, like if I point at you, guess what? There's three fingers pointing back at me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People always they don't want to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell, I have to tell you of a book, okay, for anybody that's in a relationship or wants to be in a relationship. There's a book called The Five Love Languages. You
Yeah.
have to, you have to read this book. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I recently read it. I was like, oh my God, this book is amazing. And it basically, you just have to read it. It tells you about like how you like to receive things, like whether you like to receive gifts or like you like to receive compliments. I don't want to ruin the book. You just have to read it, but I'm telling you, it will change your whole life.
Mm. Wow. So go get the five love languages. Find it
I'm
and
sorry, I
read
don't
it.
remember the author. I have it there, but just Google it. You can find it on Amazon.
Yeah,
So,
we'll Google that and find out the
eh,
author of the book. Yeah, and that's me. I wouldn't want to tell about the wrongs I do. I wouldn't be the one who's to blame. But then, why is it that even because this is where I'm going at, even when we are both of us, I wouldn't tell exactly what is you or what is it that you have affected me with. The- I don't know whether it's still this makes sense and whether you have a
I have
clue of.
I have another answer for you. Sorry, go ahead. I have
Okay,
another
go
answer
ahead.
for you.
Go ahead.
So, what happens is so the first relationship is with ourself, right?
Mm,
When you
mm,
get into another relationship, I don't know if you're talking about love relationship or even a relationship you
could
have with
be.
your mother, your father, but let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about you're talking about a love relationship. Is that correct?
Oh, we can go with that.
Okay, so when we come into a relationship, so most people have gone through some sort of trauma in their life,
Mm,
some level, on some
mm-hmm,
level.
mm-hmm.
So when we come into a relationship, guess what? We're wounded.
Yeah.
So when we try to blame our partner for this, and, one, it could be ego. Two,
Mm,
it could probably be a wound,
mm-hmm,
right? You say,
mm-hmm.
oh, like, I don't like when you do that to me, like, blah, 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 right? It's probably a wound. When I mean a wound, it's like you want to blame that person for, or you're acting a certain way, and
Yeah.
maybe you're not even aware of it, right? But it's probably something subconsciously in your mind
Mm-hmm,
of something in the past that happened. I guarantee you.
mm,
100% of the time, that's usually what it is.
mm-hmm.
Because as
Oh,
children, we're not heard, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm,
We're taught to be quiet and like don't speak up, right? And like, but I think that's definitely just from personal experience. That's from what I've personally gone through. It's
mm-hmm.
wounding. And somebody
Okay.
might be thinking, okay, well, Jeanette, how do I heal my wounds? Well, one thing I can tell you, it doesn't happen overnight. Okay.
Yeah.
I've
Mm-hmm.
been working on healing my trauma for the past 20 years. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not 100% perfect. I'm always working on myself. How do you work on yourself? Read books, put yourself around people, like whatever you want to achieve, right? Like, for example, I'm doing my podcast, right? I
Mm-hmm.
connect with people like amazing people like Anthony, right? Other people that are doing positive things. I
Mm,
told you about the events that I went to,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, for example, if you want to, let me give you an example. If you want to be a nurse, are you going to go to somebody that knows how to learn pottery?
Yeah.
No, you're going to want to be around other nurses,
Yeah.
right? Go
Exactly.
surround with just yourself. Go to a hospital and volunteer. I'm just giving examples, right?
Yeah.
Put yourself in a community of other nurses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm just giving you an example. If you want to become a better mom, are you going to hang around single people? I'm not saying don't hang around single
Mm,
people, but I'm saying you probably can maybe go to the park and make friends with other moms, right? Because you want to
moms.
be a
Yeah.
better mom. Maybe you can learn something through them.
Mm,
So I'm just giving an example, right? So
yeah.
if you're an entrepreneur and you want to improve your business, put yourself around other entrepreneurs. You want to be a part of a mastermind? Again, it doesn't matter where you are in your life,
Mm,
right? If you're a teenager and you want to improve your grades, well, then go hang around other, talk
achievers.
to your mom or dad, of course, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hang around other students that are wanting to improve themselves.
Mm.
It's
Wow.
very straightforward. It's not difficult.
Yeah. Mm.
Again,
That's wonderful.
fine if you're not sure what you want to do, that's okay too. Then try different things. Try
Mm,
different things, right?
mm.
What is
Oh,
something that you would do for free that you could talk about for hours? Ask yourself that question. So, anyway, I hope this is bringing value. So,
yeah, it's bringing value, and thank you for telling us to hang with people who are positive, people who are going somewhere, who are achieving, people that we want to identify with the dream that we have. And now, for thank you for sharing that. And as we are almost coming to the end of the show, and someone who is listening to you is saying, "Oh, I would like to hang around Janet," how can they do that?
Thank you. That's very kind, Anthony. You could I definitely recommend for you to subscribe to my podcast on YouTube, Happiness from Within. That way you can get the latest episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this year we're definitely going to be launching more episodes. I'm almost at 100 podcast episodes. I say that very humbly, but yeah, if you could subscribe to my channel, it would really mean a lot. And please, leave a comment. Would love to hear any questions you have if I can provide value. And it also has all my links there. You can find me on Instagram. Feel free to reach out. I'm always here to provide value and help in any way I can. And if you are a woman struggling with chronic illness and you're looking to just find some tools, reach out to me, see if we're a good fit to work together. So,
Wow. Thank you very much. You're kind. So kind. And just as a reminder to everyone, please hop on to YouTube and connect with Janet at Happiness from Within. Wow, that's wonderful. And we are coming to the end, but I like asking people to leave us with some few words which you think we should never, never, never forget.
I think something that all of us should never forget is and this is the biggest thing I would say to all of you, especially it being the beginning of the year, is this: don't leave for tomorrow what you can do today. Like if you said, "Oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow," or "I'm going to talk to that person tomorrow." That person might not be alive tomorrow.
Mm.
But really, you guys, I mean, there's people, for example, certain people that I wanted to interview, right? And I was like, "Oh, I'll reach out to them later," right? This was several. And guess what? They already passed away of some sickness, right? And I was like, man, and that's been my mantra. Don't leave for tomorrow what you can do today. Right.
Wow.
So do the best where you can, where you're at. I do understand sometimes there are certain things like, let's say you're super tired and the dishes are in the sink and you're just really exhausted. Then, of course, wash the dishes tomorrow. But I'm talking about like certain goals that you have. If you want to tell someone you love them, or you just want to tell someone you appreciate them, like, don't wait till tomorrow to do that. Right. I don't mean to be so blunt saying that they're not going to be alive tomorrow. And I say that because I think every 9 seconds somebody passes away on the planet, from
Mm-hmm.
something, whether it's a
Yeah.
natural
Yeah.
disaster, whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
sickness, whether whatever it is. But, I mine when I found out my mentor Daisaku Keita passed away, like I was really devastated, and
Mm.
but he fulfilled his mission, right?
Yeah.
And
The thing,
so
the thing
um
with your mission. Mm-hmm.
if you want to start a podcast, if you want to start something, like just do it. Like if you're not sure how, guess what? We have access to so much technology than we ever have ever. You guys, I'm from the 80s, okay? Like I was around before the internet even started, okay? I'm
Yeah.
still young, but I'm saying I know what it's like to be around and not have the internet. Don't worry, we still survived. We didn't walk around with our
We did.
phones.
We did.
But I'm telling you, technology is amazing. You want to learn how to do something? I have an answer for you. Go to Google.
Go to
Okay, you
Google
can
and
find
you know how to.
anything. You want to learn how to play piano? Go on Google. You
Go
want to
to
learn how
Google.
to talk French? You can literally do anything for free. I obviously hire a coach if you can, but there's no excuse. That's my message. There's no excuse.
Thank you very much, Janet. You've shared so much with us, and we really appreciate. For someone who's listening and is going to still walk into this new year with some excuses, you've no one to blame. Janet said it all. Just do it.
Do it.
So, thank you very much, Janet. We really appreciate you once again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. So we've come to the end of today's show, and it's been wonderful. We thank our guest today, who was Janet Prado, and I, being your host, Anthony Moirore. Together, we are saying, go into the new year with confidence, with no excuses, and just do it. And until next time, it's bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.